Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new around here. If you are new around here, please make sure you do subscribe because that would help me out a lot. Yeah, so today's video is a really exciting one. This is one that I've wanted to film literally for so long. I've had the idea for this for ages, and I've actually got some of my DCP friends to help me out here. A really big group chat actually helped us out, so shout out to those guys for that. But this video, if you can't already tell from the title, is going to be things that they don't tell you about the Disney College programme. So I know in the UK that a lot of international programme people are starting to get ready to go on their programmes, and I've had so many questions on Instagram regarding anything about the programme. So just before I start, if you guys do have any questions about the programme, leave them in the comments. I'll try and answer them. But yeah, this video is basically going to be all the things that you probably didn't know before you did your college programme, and now you're either on it or you've done it and you're thinking, yes, I didn't know that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it, because there are, judging by my phone, so many things. So the first one is, and I've mentioned this a lot, and it is how expensive the programme actually is. So I've mentioned before how you need money for like your visa and your flights and your travel and your accommodation before you get put into housing. When we first applied, and someone in the group chat raised this as a very valid point, that they were told by our recruiters that when you embark on this programme, you'll probably end up spending anywhere between £800 to £1,000 on preparation for the programme, whether that be your visa, your flights, your accommodation for like the first couple of days, or you know, new clothes, like all that kind of thing. But actually, let me tell you, it's so much more than that. You don't think about it, but you need money for things like the first 2 weeks before you get paid. Like I said, new clothes, sun cream, supplies to go, your visa, your transportation to your visa appointment. Maybe you might need accommodation for your visa appointment. Even your interviews cost money because you have to pay to get there or stay somewhere if you don't live nearby. So yeah, you don't think about these things, and obviously if it's something that you really want to do, then the money side of it is not really going to be a problem. I've heard a lot of people say that the programs are definitely for very privileged people, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily true, but just bear in mind that they are very expensive. Next up, I kind of came up with this one myself, and it definitely rings true for everyone that I know. It doesn't matter how you felt whilst doing the programme, you will come home and miss it every single day until you go back. This is so true. When I first got home from the programme, I was very much like, okay, I've done it, it's over, like I had a great time, it was good and bad, but I'm done, I don't need to go back. About a month passed, I'd say, and ever since that day where it clicked in my brain, I've wanted to go back every single day since, to the point where I now feel ready that if someone gave me the chance to do another programme, I would probably do it. A couple of months ago I definitely wouldn't have, but now I'm like, I need to go back. Like, it's a problem, I need to go back. And obviously this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does consume a lot of your brain, and you do end up wanting to talk about it all the time. So yeah, I definitely don't think anyone could ever prepare you for that. The next one, and a lot of my friends raise this point, it's eating well is actually really hard once you're out there. Obviously you're only there for like 2 or 3 months, or if you're doing a US program, probably a little bit longer. Although if you're from the US, you're probably used to the diet, so but from the UK, obviously we eat fruit and veg every day. It's pretty cheap. But try living in a very touristy part of America where every corner you turn there's a new fast food restaurant. Especially for us in Vista Way, we lived next door to a Wendy's, and let's just say it wasn't great for my diet. I spent a lot of my time eating chicken nuggets, and although that sounds great, it's really not very healthy. We tried to go to Walmart as much as we could, but again, like I said, it's a very touristy part of America, so Walmart was just full of American sweets, Disney merchandise, and people that had no idea what they were doing. I'm pretty sure I queued longer for my Walmart shop than I did to go on Hagrid's. So yeah, take that as you will, but the dieting is horrendous. You don't eat meals at proper times because of your work schedule, which is something I can definitely live with, but when you're only eating pasta and microwave veg, that's really hard. So yeah, do prepare yourself if you are someone that eats healthy. Prepare yourself to not eat healthy for a few months, because it is really hard. When you do find fruit and veg, often it's pumped full of chemicals to make it bigger or brighter, and it's also really expensive. One of my friends said that she paid $12 for an apple, so good. This is one that didn't really affect me, but I know a lot of people that it did. So this will probably be more suited to people who can't drive to get to their college program. So if you're from America and you've driven, this probably means nothing to you. But if you've had to fly, even if that's just like an internal flight, don't send your stuff home in packages, in stages. Just buy another suitcase and add the suitcase on, because actually that works out so much cheaper. And again, this is something they don't really tell you, because I guess it's down to the individual person how much you buy and how much stuff you come home with. But we did get like a leaflet for sending your luggage home like in a box, and it seemed like a great idea at the time, but actually it was much more expensive than just buying another suitcase from Walmart, or pretty sure even Walgreens sold suitcases at one point, and then taking it home with you. Like, it's so much easier. Okay, and the next thing that I actually need to mention, and this is like, if you guys get anything out of this video, please be prepared for the very, very early in the morning, silly hours in the morning, social security appointment. Again, not something you're ever told about. In general, the early shifts and early training and early meetings and classes are not something that you're really ever told about, but they are early. Like, we had to go up for our social security appointment at like 5 AM and be on a bus that got there for 7 AM. We were home by 9 AM and we pretty much all went straight back to bed because it was painfully early. So yeah, just be prepared. If you're not a morning person, you might have to become one. Now, this next one is one that a lot of my alumni friends can relate to at the moment, and we've just had the dreaded tax return letter. Now, this is something that we were never told about, we never knew about at all on the program. We were never told about it in any meetings, in our interviews, in like information guides. This was never a known thing. But we recently, at the start of the year, all got letters to say that we're about to get a tax return form through in the post for a US tax return. So we were like, oh cool, we're getting money. No, this process has been the most complicated thing ever. So we have until April to do it. I haven't started yet, which is probably not ideal, and I probably will leave it to the last minute, but yeah, it's really complicated. No one has been able to do it without any problems. It actually costs you money to do, so we're almost a year out of doing the program and we're still having to pay money for the program that we did, so not great. It's also federal law that you have to do the tax return, because at first I was kind of like, well, if I just have to pay to get some money back, I might just not do it. But you actually have to do it because it might restrict your visa status in the future, especially if you want to do another program or do something else in America. It could be really difficult. So yeah, they don't tell you about that, and everyone's pretty annoyed about it at the moment. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably been the one thing that has kind of felt really bad about the program, is the fact that we have to do this tax return. Obviously, if you're someone that was like, yeah, obviously, of course you have to do that, then don't come at me, but we had no idea we had to do this. The next one is buy a water filter, and honestly guys, just do it. I mean, you really, it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you're from the UK or just not from America in general, do not drink tap water. Like, don't do it. My naive self was like, oh, I'll be fine, I've done it before. Don't do it. Please buy a water filter, please. The next point, and I think pretty much anyone can agree on this, is that a lot of the time when you're applying to do a program like this and it's over the summer between like university terms, often people think, oh, this is a really great way that I can make money for my next year at uni. No. Let me just tell you something. Let me let you in a little secret, and that is that you will probably not actually come home with any money after your program. I mean, obviously that depends on each person. You might be really, really good at saving money, and in which case, fine, like, hats off to you. But for most cases, you'll probably come home with more Minnie Mouses than you will money. So yeah, just bear that in mind, that if you are looking for a job that can earn you a lot of money for your next year at uni, this is not the one, my friends. It's not the one. The next one kind of follows in with this, and it is actually how to get your money back at the end of the program. We were not taught about this, we were not told. We were told that we would have like a US bank account that is kind of run by Disney, and it's basically a really super easy way to get paid, and of course it is, and whilst you're there, using the card was no drama at all. Again, I've mentioned this in previous videos, but getting your money off of the card to be able to use it back in the UK is really hard. I think I came home with about maybe just under $200, and I still have about 40 of those dollars in the bank account because I can't get it. We actually PayPal'd our money to ourselves, which turns out is actually illegal, so wouldn't recommend that, but it's meant that they have like a minimum amount that you have to have in the account, and I'm now stuck with money because if I try and withdraw any more, I won't have the minimum amount anymore. So obviously it's fine because if I do go back to the US before the card runs out, I can still use it. And actually it's quite nice knowing that I've got like a little bit of an emergency fund in there just in case. But yeah, that is actually a really hard one, and I now sitting here probably still can't tell you guys a good way to get your money back because we never really found a good way. Most people just left it. We PayPal'd it, but again, as I mentioned, you're not really supposed to do that, so I wouldn't do it. This one was raised by some of my friends, my fellow Vista Way friends. You need to be a cockroach pro. Yeah, you do. So this is obviously just a general Florida thing. It's a very humid climate. There's going to be some insects and bugs. And the way that Disney housing is laid out is kind of like an outside corridor, and then you go to your front door. So your buildings are kind of they're not inside. I don't really know how to describe it. Like the apartments are, the corridors and the stairwells are outside. So because of that, a lot of bugs are likely to come in. Now this isn't a bad thing. This has nothing to do with the quality of the housing in Disney, like absolutely not, because I've stayed in a really nice villa in Orlando before and the same thing has happened. It's just what happens. But yeah, I would say make sure per apartment there is someone who is good with bugs and especially cockroaches, because the amount of cockroaches we lost, the amount of cups we lost trying to catch them, the amount of antennas that were lost on cockroaches whilst trying to catch them, the amount of 3 AM phone calls to people that we knew that were good with cockroaches. Yeah, bugs are a thing and I would get used to that pretty quick. So the next one is actually a little bit sad, and it makes me sad just thinking about it. On your program, this isn't something they don't necessarily tell you, but I feel like it's something that you don't realise the impact of until you're there. You make friends on your program and the chances are you're probably never going to see them again, and obviously that's a given with working abroad, like this is just what happens, but I don't think people realise the nature of how close you become to people when you're working somewhere like that, whether that's because you've had a bad shift and you're all kind of in the same situation together, whether you go on midnight Wendy's runs with people on your shift, your roommates, you live so closely with your roommates, people that you spend every day with at the parks. You get so close to these people and you may never see them again because they might live in a different country or halfway across the world, or they might even just live a few hours away and your schedules never meet and you can never see each other. So yeah, it is really hard. I would say the best way to combat this is probably to try and make plans if you can. So one of our lovely friends, Hayley, actually came and visited London, which was so nice. I know that not everyone can obviously do that, but try and make plans, make a group chat, just stay in contact with each other. And yeah, it's hard, but it's worth it. Also, Frozen rides, am I right? So my final pointer, and I've kind of done this whole video in a random order, there was no logic to any of this, but it is that when you get your location, you could be placed absolutely anywhere in Walt Disney World, absolutely anywhere. This is not necessarily a bad thing, because if you're like me, I had quick service and I didn't really know many of the quick service restaurants, because the only other time I'd ever been, I was with my family and we tended not to eat in the parks, or that much anyway. So I feel like I didn't really know that much about quick service, so to me it really didn't faze me where I was. And for a lot of people it probably won't, but especially for American CPs, I know this is a fact. You could be placed in Starbucks, which for me personally, I've always tried to be like, look on the bright side of this. If you're placed in a Starbucks in Walt Disney World, A, you're still working in Walt Disney World, you still get a cool costume, and B, you're Starbucks trained, so now you can work in any Starbucks in the world and you're trained, so it's fine. I would always say there's a bright side and a bad side to working in Walt Disney World, and again, this is a whole other video in itself that I'm going to delve into at some point, but you will definitely be probably surprised by your location. You'll find you might be put in a location that you've never heard of. Like, I'd never heard of Cosmic Rays before. it was graced into my life, and now here we are. But I feel like locations aren't always a bad thing. Like, it's not terrible if you're placed in Disney Springs, it's not terrible if you're given a location that hardly anyone ever goes to. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely something to be very wary of. You're not all gonna get Be Our Guest, and you're not all gonna get Sunset Boulevard merchandise, and you're not all gonna get Main Street Custodial all the time. But yeah, it's a learning curve, and they don't tell you that, but yeah. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoy it. As I said before, this is just a little bit of fun, so I don't want to offend the college program in any way. I think it's an amazing experience, and anyone that is remotely interested in it should definitely do it. I'm just laughing because there is so much we didn't know before we went on it. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're not already. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything that you found on your program that you were never told about or prepared for. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon with another video. Bye!